There is a battle happening every day, not always on the outside, but within. It is a battle of emotions, ego, and power. In this battle, your greatest enemy is not the one who stands against you, but the one who controls your mind, your emotions, and your energy. Most people believe that to defeat an enemy you must fight, that to win you must strike back harder. But the truth is, the greatest victories are won without lifting a finger, because real power does not come from destruction. It comes from mastery. Have you ever noticed that those who seek to harm you, those who try to bring you down, always expect a reaction? They thrive on your anger, your frustration, your retaliation. The moment you engage, you have already lost. Not because you are weak, but because you have allowed them to pull you into their game. But what if you refuse to play? What if, instead of reacting, you remained unshaken? Silence is a weapon, and not the silence of fear, but the silence of power. When someone insults you and you do not react, they lose control. When someone tries to break you and you stand firm, they feel powerless. This is the first step to destroying an enemy without fighting, denying them the fuel they need to keep attacking. The second step is transformation. The energy of hatred, jealousy, and negativity that is thrown at you can either destroy you or elevate you. You decide. Instead of wasting energy on revenge, channel it into growth. Become so strong, so capable, so successful that their attacks become meaningless. There was once a wise master who was constantly insulted by a man in his village. Every day the man would come and throw words of hatred at him, trying to provoke a reaction, but the master never responded. One day, a student asked, "Why do you let him insult you without saying anything?" The master smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift but you refuse to take it, to whom does the gift belong? Your enemy's words, their actions, their intentions, these are all gifts. If you refuse to accept them, they remain with the giver. Do not carry the weight of someone else's hatred. Leave it where it belongs." But silence is not always enough. The third strategy is to use patience as a weapon. A wise warrior does not rush into battle. He waits, observes, and lets the enemy destroy themselves. When someone is filled with anger and resentment, they are already at war with themselves. If you simply stand back, they will eventually fall by their own doing. Time reveals everything. The one who tries to destroy you today will often be the one who destroys themselves tomorrow. Your job is not to fight, it is to outlast. The fourth strategy is unpredictability. The more predictable you are, the easier it is for your enemy to control you. If they know your weaknesses, they will attack them. If they know what angers you, they will provoke you. But when you become unpredictable, when they cannot read your emotions, when they do not know your next move, you become untouchable. Move in silence. Let your success be unseen until it is undeniable. The most dangerous person is not the one who shows their strength, but the one who hides it until the moment is right. And finally, the fifth and most powerful strategy: become so elevated that you have no enemies. When your mind is free, when your energy is strong, when your vision is clear, no one can stand against you. Not because they fear you, but because they no longer matter. When a lion walks through the jungle, does it stop for every barking dog? No, because it knows who it is. When you know your worth, when you realize that no enemy is worth your energy, you rise beyond them. If you truly want to destroy your enemies, do not fight them. Master yourself. Be so focused on your growth that they become invisible. Be so committed to your purpose that their words fade into the background. Be so powerful in your silence that their attacks turn into nothing. And in the end, you will realize there was never a battle to fight. Because true power is not in defeating others. It is in rising so high that no one can reach you. There was once a man who sought the wisdom of a great master. He had spent his entire life chasing success, relationships, and recognition, yet he felt constantly restless and burdened. No matter how much he achieved, it was never enough. The more he tried to hold on to things, people, wealth, status, the more they seemed to slip away. Frustrated and exhausted, he finally asked the master, "Why do I feel so empty despite having everything?" The master smiled and handed him a cup of tea. As he poured, the tea began to overflow, spilling onto the floor. The man jumped back, startled. The master looked at him and said, "This is your mind, full, overflowing, grasping, but unable to hold anything more. Until you learn to let go, you will never be free." Most people live their lives in a constant state of attachment. Attachment to success, attachment to relationships, attachment to validation. They hold on so tightly, fearing loss, that they do not realize they are suffocating the very things they love. They believe that control brings security, but in reality, control only brings suffering because life is not something you can grasp. It flows, changes, and evolves. Those who understand this do not fear losing. They understand that real strength lies in detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean running away from responsibilities or becoming emotionless. It means engaging fully in life, but with the wisdom to know that nothing is permanent. A warrior fights with all his heart but does not mourn the battlefield. A river flows with strength but does not cling to the stones it passes. This is the art of detachment, to give your best to the moment yet remain free from the outcome. Imagine a man who plants a tree. He nurtures it, waters it, protects it from storms. But if one day the tree withers, he does not break down in despair. He understands that his duty was to care for it, not to control its destiny. The same applies to everything in life: your work, your relationships, your dreams. Do your best, but do not be owned by the result. There is a story of an ancient king who ruled over a vast kingdom. He had everything: power, wealth, servants at his command. But deep inside, he was always anxious, always afraid of losing what he had built. One day, a sage visited his court and gifted him a simple ring with an inscription: "This too shall pass." The king was puzzled, but the sage explained, "Wear this at all times. When you are in sorrow, read it. When you are in joy, read it." Years passed, and the king faced moments of great triumph and deep loss. Each time he looked at the ring and remembered, "This too shall pass." Slowly he began to understand that neither success nor failure was permanent. He learned to embrace each moment with gratitude but without attachment. And for the first time, he felt peace. This is the wisdom that few understand. Most people live in extremes, either clinging desperately to pleasure or drowning in sorrow. But detachment teaches you that both are temporary. If something brings you happiness, enjoy it fully, but do not fear its end. If something brings you pain, endure it with patience, for it too shall pass. A person who has mastered detachment is unshakable. When others panic, they remain calm. When others are consumed by desire, they remain focused. They are like a mountain, standing firm, unmoved by the storms of life. This is true power, not in controlling the world, but in being free from its control.